Hey guys, Trey Lewellen here for episode number 4 on Kommerce Kings. Welcome. We have Shawn Lynam on the call, which is going to be amazing, by the way, because obviously we have video and audio, which makes it super cool. But also, I want to pull some things out of Lynam where he was able to sell, like, how many was it? Like 20,000 hats?
Yeah, around 22,000.
22,000 hats, and not just any hat. It was the Make America Great Again hat, which is the Trump hat, which before he was elected, they totally, and what's interesting is because no one thought that Trump was going to be winning, but he had a lot of supporters, right? So this is pre-election, and you had the idea like, okay, do we sell Hillary hats or do we sell Trump hats? So anyways, welcome Lynam. We're gonna rock and roll and see how you're able to do it, what it looked like, and what made it happen, and then we're going to go from there.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited that you're here, to be frank. So I love this story because there's so much to it. And Lynam and I mean, we just got our official Facebook. You've been for 5 years. I think that was like yesterday. So I was like, perfect timing to bring you on as a podcast. But it's amazing like what both Lynam and I have been through over the last 5 years where Lynam was teaching me stuff, I've taught him stuff, and together we've created this really cool bond. And to see like him go out and do a funnel was really, really awesome. But not only that, but like all the stuff he learned along the way. Like there was positive stuff and there was some not so positive stuff. So let's just kind of break into it and tell the story of, it wasn't just you, it was you had a partner, and I'm going to let you kind of talk. So how did it all kind of come together?
Kind of came together by the guy that was your first podcast participant, James Friel. We were just wanting to put a funnel together. We didn't really know what to sell. And, we all know our rule number 1 is sell what's already selling, right? Mm-hmm. Like we don't want to guess if it's going to sell. We want to know that people already want it, and then we're going to go sell that. So we started doing some research on Amazon. And the red MAGA hat was, three different distributors were in the top 200 on Amazon.
Wow.
So we knew that people were buying it. And then James had a guy that could drop ship the hats for us. So we kind of had the fulfillment side, taken care of. Mm-hmm. And really this was just kind of just started out as something cool to do, something that, Friel and I wanted to do, together, get into, do more e-com, because the majority of the funnels that, been worked on the last couple of years have either been lead generation or selling, education. So
yeah.
This was the first time that, I got into a physical product funnel, and definitely learned a lot along the way. So once we had the idea, we did our homework. We knew that people were already buying them. We knew the free plus, shipping model, and we were able to get the hats cheap enough as to where we could actually do a real free plus shipping model. So the funnel took, we kept it insanely simple. Like we did not try to
describe simple.
I mean, simple. So we just took the ClickFunnels templated free plus shipping, swapped out the image, swapped out the headline, went to Amazon, looked at the bullet points that people were using for the hats, just pretty much swiped and deployed the bullet points, and then just did a free plus shipping. And really all we had to sell were the hats. So we knew right off the bat, like, we went to Amazon and we saw that, with the hats, people bought these other things. The problem with most of those other things was you weren't able to easily ship them in the same package. So we decided upon stickers as being an order bump. And it was all hats and stickers. Like that was the whole,
hats
funnel.
And stickers.
Hats and stickers, because the stickers were, very cheap, but they could, if somebody ordered a hat and stickers, they can all go in the same package. Like everybody was like, hey, I want yard signs. I want this, I want that. And the shipping of it just, we didn't want to get into that type of situation.
So were you shipping the hats or were you arbitraging them?
We were arbitraging them. So the guy that was drop shipping them, we'd get 5,000 a time landed into Oklahoma City, and then they were doing all the stuff through ShipStation and Stamps.com. So our thing was just to sell them, and then they shipped them.
Okay, so you did. So what? So give me a description of your order form. So you had your order form up. It was the Make It Great Again hat. And then was it just like buy one of them, or did you allow them to buy 2 or 3?
Yeah, so since we only had hats and stickers to sell, we didn't give them the order quantity option on the front because that was our OTO upsell. So you could buy 1 hat and 2 stickers, and then the upsell was 2 hats and 3 stickers for $19.95. So we sold the hat for $7.95.
Okay.
Free plus shipping. So the shipping was $7.95. The stickers, there were 2 stickers for $3.95, and we had a 50% take rate on actually 52% take rate. And the stickers were costing us a nickel a piece, and we were selling 2 stickers for $3.95, and didn't cost any in additional shipping because they didn't weigh anything.
Yeah.
So, so we had a really good take rate. Now, don't get me wrong, we didn't start out with the stickers as the order bump. We had the hat, and then 2 hats and 3 stickers as the upsell, and then I was like, all right, well, we only have stickers, might as well put them on the order bump. And sure enough, it was a 52% take rate, which, upped our cart value by $2 immediately and did not affect the OTO. So they wanted a bunch of these things or they didn't.
Yeah. So you were only selling, like when I went to your order form, you could only buy 1 hat and then some stickers as an order bump, or I could buy like 3 hats and some stickers.
No. So again, we didn't do the quantity on the front, and because if we would exhausted their order on the front, we didn't have anything else to sell them on the upsell.
So why didn't you want to exhaust them on the front?
I guess we could have tested that to see if we could just exhaust them up on the front and up the cart value. I don't know, maybe because I'm addicted to upsells. I mean, that's like the only thing I could possibly tell you as to why we didn't, split test the 2.
All right. All right. That's cool. Can you give me water, Jared? It's over there. So, okay. So you had the $7.95 a hat. So I can only buy 1 hat for $7.85, and then the sticker for $3.95, which is a 50% take. What were they selling the hats for on Amazon? Like, why'd you choose $7.95?
Because we were able to get the hats for, I think they were $1.35, landed, and then we had $2.35 in shipping. Okay. And then the cost to acquire customers on Facebook really depended on the day. It started out really, really well, like gangbusters. We started on a $50 a day budget, and the first day we sold like $325 worth of physical products. So we were rocking and rolling in the beginning, and then here's a lesson learned. At the end of June, we got our Stripe account placed on hold because Stripe said that, we were infringing on trademarks, which we had already done our homework. I'd say I'm too old to do illegal stuff, but, I don't got time for that. Right. So, we did our homework, and he did have it trademarked for political purposes, meaning no other politician could use that slogan, but he didn't have it trademarked for merchandise. So anybody could sell the stuff. It was just free game. Mm-hmm. But if you went to Amazon, you couldn't have got a hat less than $16.95. You couldn't have got a hat for less than that.
You're totally cutting these people in half.
Yeah, we just cut them in half, and the free plus shipping. Where we got the $7.95, I'm not exactly sure, but just the free plus shipping. We wanted the shipping to be kind of believable, because you know how people are. They're like, it's free plus shipping, but it's not free, and it's like, yeah, well, the post office doesn't work for free, right? So, we're working for free. The post office isn't, and that's how you just kind of quiet that down. So when the merchant account got turned off, we had to turn off all the ads. And then we went to, battle with Stripe for like 2 weeks. And then it was another 2-week review. So in the meantime, we started looking at our chat box data, and a lot of people were asking for PayPal because they did not trust a non-secured, even though you can say it's secured, people were like, oh, you just say that, right?
Yeah.
So people were asking just due to trust issues as to whether or not they could, order with PayPal. So we hurried up and opened a Braintree account that has a really slick PayPal integration. And now they had the options to pay for a card or do a one-click sign-in that also, carried out through the OTOs. So that was pretty nice. And we did see it was like maybe 2 to 3% increase by giving them a more secure option. But I don't know if it was worth it because we had a little more customer support on people having problems with the PayPal or it not logging them in or something like that. Because, most people are ordering stuff from their phone.
Yeah.
But another thing that we did prior to the funnel was we put up a fan page and did a like campaign. And we got a lot of data on our demographics of who the actual Trump supporters were. So when we started running our ads, it was mainly to older people, like above 50. And
how'd you find that data? Like, how'd you know that that's who it was?
Because the like campaign was giving us the data, telling us that the age of the people were older, and 50% were male, 50% were female. And if you'd have told me that 50% were female, I wouldn't have. I probably wouldn't have believed you. But the data is what it is, right? So I'm not gonna argue with the data. So when we started selling it, half of our buyers were men, half were women, which also blew me away.
Yeah.
And the way we positioned it on the thing, we knew the women weren't going to wear the hat. So we positioned it in a way that it would make a great gift. And the women were buying it for somebody else. So at the end of the day, half of our buyers are men, half of our buyers are women. And again, I would have never believed it, but that's why you got to know your data and make decisions, accordingly, and don't assume that you know it all.
So you're rocking this. So the first day you do $325 in the first day, you spent $50. Like, when you saw that, when you uploaded those numbers, were you just like, oh my gosh, we're going to be freaking millionaires?
Absolutely. It was really cool. Like, in doing all these funnels and, working with my clients, and they all have, 6 and 7 figure funnels. A new funnel in the first sale is always the most exciting. Like, yes. I don't care what it is. It's like, that new funnel, getting a sale and being profitable on day one. Yeah, it was, we were popping champagne, even though we only sold $300 worth of physical products.
Well, you did it with $50.
Yeah, it was great. We did it, to our fans. And then the fans, we just totally siphoned. We just did a like campaign and said, ready for a new president, ? Like our page. And we got 70,000 likes for $1,100, and
holy smokes.
Yeah, and then we had all the data that we needed, for the ads.
So why did you do Trump and not Hillary?
Because he had 3 of the top 200 selling items on. People were just buying that stuff up. I mean, they were, and not to get into like political, but even like I live in Pennsylvania. And I'd be traveling the turnpike and stuff, and, whether who they are voting for, the Trump people definitely had their signs out, and, they were buying stuff, right? And that's all I care about. I don't care who the politician is or what party or your politics. When you're trying to sell something and you're putting your money on the line, all I care about is whether or not they're going to buy it.
Yeah.
And those people were buying.
Well, what I think is really cool is you built a company not only around an upcoming president that we didn't even know was going to happen, but yet you, like, realistically, you were a very, very small part in his winning. And if you look at like everybody that took your site and was like, holy smokes, this is an opportunity that I should jump on, like his spending dollars, but then to add on everyone else, like all the marketers out there spending dollars to put stuff, because they're seeing that too, right? Like I heard there was coins, there was hats, there was all kinds of memorabilia that was going out that these guys are marketing and pushing tons of ad spend to that Trump never touched. And yet it worked in his favor.
It worked in his favor that he mistakenly did not trademark merchandise.
Or did it? I mean, he did win.
Yeah, but I'm just saying he had all that help because all of his stuff was free game to sell to, his supporters. And we just saw an opportunity. The data looked good. The people were actually buying, and, that's what we wanted to get in the way of. Not try, again, to use our personal, beliefs or preferences. It's, what are people buying? And as long as they're buying it, let's try to, sell it to them.
Yep.
And, in this case, yes, did we have a cheaper product than Amazon? Absolutely. Did we have, really good, Facebook marketing and a good offer? Absolutely. But we knew if the people were buying it at 25 and 16, then, they're going to scoop up the $8 free plus shipping, and then, the upsell. And the upsell converted it around 34%. So we did $7.95 on the order form, $3.95, which we then bumped to $4.95, and our conversion ratio went down like 2%. So it did, they didn't really care.
Yeah,
it wasn't that much difference. And then we did the upsell, which was $19.95, and that was a 34% take rate. And then
these people are just wanting to give you money.
We were just focusing on the cart. Like, that's our whole focus, which was great, but it was like, kind of hurt us in the grand scheme of things because we didn't know what else to do with them.
Right. So what exactly? Yeah. So what was your average carts on this stuff?
So it started out at around 14, and we were able to get it up to around $20.80.
And how much were you paying for Facebook conversions?
That depended on the day. They were doing great until the strike caused us to shut down for like 2 to 3 weeks. And then when we started back up, and we didn't think he was going to win either. So we thought we just had a really short time frame, and we knew we had something that could be scaled. And then we tried to like scale too fast, which kind of, bit us. And we only thought there was a short time frame for, this free plus shipping opportunity. So we didn't focus on the, the back end at all. So the cost to acquire, started out around like 7 to 8. And I think, we were killing campaigns anything under 10.
Okay. All right. And how much profit were you bringing in? What were you, so you're doing $10. It cost you $1.95, $2.95 to ship it out. The stickers are a nickel of all things. And so that's not going to cause any more shipping. So it seems like you're making money hand over fist over here.
Yeah. And then the final thing that we put in was, the second OTO was expedited shipping. It's like, hey, you're going to get this in 10 to 14 business days.
Okay.
If you'd like it in half the time, it was $3.86 or something like that. No cost to us, right?
Air.
But we did, we didn't lie. We fulfilled on our promise. So anybody that took that OTO went in the ship station with a tag, and they were the first orders.
That's cool.
Placed.
Cool.
Right. So if
how much was that?
It was like $3.86. We made it some like arbitrary, but looked like a real hard number.
Yeah.
So the order, the cart went from like 14, and then we added the order bump. It went from like 16. And then we got it up to around $20 with trying to keep our cost to acquire at $10 and making, a couple bucks, per order. And that was on the front end. So on the back end, there were some things that, happened that cut into our profit margins. When you're making a couple dollars per order, any little thing, is actually a big difference. Like, we got quoted of landing the hats for, $1.15. It ended up being $1.35. You think 20 cents, like that's not 20 cents is nothing. Like you'd walk by that on the street, but you multiply that over 20,000 hats, and there's $4,000 that you thought you had that now you don't have.
Makes a big difference, right?
Yeah, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, like when we do all the stuff with our critiques or hacks or whatever we're doing, I always scale out a little bit to make sure people see like the value. Because if you only do like 100 conversions, it's really hard. Like it is nickels and dimes. It is not totally much, right? You're like, oh, like who cares about that? But when you scale it out to 10,000 orders, or even in your case 22,000 orders, that's $4,000.
Yeah, you're talking 20 cents is not real money. Thousands of dollars is real money.
It is real money. There's a case where, we do this exercise all the time in the mastermind where we look at an order form and we look at it's converting at click to order. It's at, let's say 3.5%. And let's just say we increase it to 4.5%. So a whopping 1%, whoop-de dang do. But over 100,000 clicks, which comes in to be like 10,000 orders or something like that, that 1% equates to in between $40,000 to $60,000 in lost revenue because of the 3% to 4% gain. That's how it, like with that type of car value, it's insane.
Yeah, it's kind of like hitting a golf ball, and when it comes off the tee, it doesn't seem like it's off a line. It is a little, and then the farther out that it goes, the more offline that it gets.
Yeah.
And the trajectory of it is so again, it was 20 cents, but it was really like $4,400.
Yeah. So tell me, so you're getting the hats in, right? They're coming in 5,000 bulk. So you had to make at least 5 orders of those. If you sold 22,000, so those are coming in, stickers are coming in. Who's doing your fulfillment? Somebody else?
One of Friel's buddies who sells a ton of stuff on Amazon has a warehouse in Oklahoma City, and guys, the stuff, the envelope. So, they were taking care of all the fulfillment through, ShipStation and stamps.com.
Nice. So you and your wife weren't sitting at home stuffing envelopes with hats?
No.
You didn't want that. What about customer service? Anybody call you?
Yeah. So customer service, this was one of the monetary centers that we just weren't focused on and weren't keeping an eye on. And we were, paying someone, $15 an hour to handle customer service. That was the chat box.
Okay.
The emails and the phone calls.
So you had one person handling all of that?
Yes.
All right. At $15 an hour?
Yes.
How many hours were they working a week?
See, we weren't paying attention, right?
Oh.
Like, another thing that, again, over time, so $15 an hour, if they're working a couple extra hours, a week or a day, not real money. Over the span of 3 months, it was definitely at least double what again we thought it was.
What do you think it was?
I don't know, like $3,000 to $4,000, and ended up being like $6,000 to $7,000. Same with the person doing the Facebook ads; they're getting paid hourly, and no one's telling them not to spend or only spend certain hours. So they're spending a lot of hours and getting paid, and we just weren't paying attention to it because we were so focused on things like cart value, fulfillment, and what else can we do what else can we do, or what else can we sell these people? So at the end of the day, you got to keep your eye on the whole business and all the numbers, and because we thought we were making a lot more money than we were, and then when you add in everything, all the software costs, your people costs, refunds, it's like when you looked at everything, then things were not as cool as they were seeming on the front end.
Yeah. So you're making $20. So one of the biggest things that we do with our funnels is we implant a 15%. Basically, what that includes is overhead and refunds. So that covers us. And so we know when we're spending on a CPA per basis, like cost per acquisition, and I say, the real stats would show maybe like we can afford $20, but then when you add that 15% in, you're looking at maybe like 16 or 17, which hurts, but you won't fall short because you're not going to get hicked up by a refund avalanche or overhead, such as, a customer service issue.
And it was an overhead issue with us. It was not refunds. Our refunds were below 2%.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, it's an $8 hat. Like, it's not.
Yeah, it's free shipping. Or shipping. It cost free. It was free.
We sold 22,000 hats. We had one guy say that the hat didn't fit his head, right? And then but we got actually more calls to order, like, hey, how can I buy 10? How can I buy 20? Than we did, I don't like your hat, or it's too big for my head.
That's amazing.
Yeah, the refunds were crazy low.
So what did you find when you said you started looking at the chat bot? Like, why are we looking in there?
I'm looking at the chat. I'm looking at, customer service to see where the problems are, right? I'm looking for customer feedback on how we can improve.
Yeah.
Just like the PayPal thing. Like, hey, this looks cool, looks legit, but I don't feel comfortable. And all of our people were 50 and above. This might have been the first funnel that they ever have been through, right? This is not me and you. Like, we go through people's funnels for fun.
Right.
And, this is the first time. So communication was key. Like, thank God we had ShipStation and Stamps sending them emails when it was shipped and then emails when it was dropped off. Another challenge that we had customer service wise was the address, verification, because, people are putting in the wrong address. That took some time. And even though we plugged in a solution, it was costing us like a nickel, per address. People were still getting it, getting some of them wrong.
It's amazing how people don't know their own address when they're putting it into an order form.
Well, they'll put in a 4-digit zip code, right? Or they'll just misspell their street name. They're just on their phone, and we're on their computer, and they're just not really paying attention to detail, knowing that everything needs to be perfect for the post office to recognize it.
So what I like about what you do is when you build these funnels or in companies, you always create like what I did wrong and what I should have fixed spreadsheets. And so how many of those have we covered so far?
We've covered a couple, which is, listen to feedback and looking at feedback as a positive and not a negative. Because when we first started, I was doing the customer service because I wanted to hear the feedback as much as I didn't want to hear the feedback.
Sure.
Before I could, give it to somebody else. But, and then customer service also tells you where in the funnel that things may be misleading or not clear and understandable. So again, it's, listening to the feedback so you make the experience through the funnel, much better. Another thing is, people try to look at like lifetime customer value, and that's an extremely hard metric to figure out. So it's the number one metric is that cart value.
Yes.
I mean, that's the number one metric because, you want to know that your money's coming back. Like anything that goes out, obviously knowing all your numbers, and I mean like all the numbers is a much better than, just focusing so much on the funnel and how much am I getting Facebook, how much are products, and then how much do I have left over, but looking at the entire business and everything it takes to fulfill and ship or refund, or, hey, we're out of 5,000 hats, we need to go order another, batch and get them over here as quickly as possible. Another thing that people do is they build a list and then they hope to sell something.
Oh, like an email list?
Yeah, rather than selling something to build that list.
Yep.
We had a third of the people filled in the step 1 and a third of those people filled in step 2.
Yes.
Right? So we had a 30-some% opt-in rate and then a 12%, buy rate.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's totally. Now,
you got one buyer and 4 opt-ins.
No, we got 3 opt-ins equal to buyer.
Yeah. So 4, right?
So for every 3 people that filled out step 1, 1 filled out step 2.
One of the 3? Okay.
Yeah. So we had a third of the people land on the page, filled in step 1. We got their email, and then a third of the people ended up purchasing.
Nice. So you built, so what was your email list then? 60,000?
It's like 32.
32,000. So if you had 22,000 hats.
Or no, that's not right. You're right. It was around 58. Now that
58,000.
Yeah.
So, and then how long did you sell these for?
Till Labor Day of last year.
It's like 2 months, 3 months?
Let's see, May, June, July, August, about 4.5 months.
So in 4 months, you built a 60,000 list with 20 some buyers in it, 20,000 or so buyers. That's impressive. I love how you said that. Is a lot of people build an email list to sell them stuff, which I feel is backwards. So I don't know how people do that because it's like you're spending so much money to invest in a list, and then you're hoping that the list is going to reap rewards versus selling
something to build it.
Yeah, building something that builds that list that's paid for. So now you have someone handed you a free list of these people of 60,000, a list of 60,000 people for free.
Yeah, and what people don't have to understand is email is great, right? Because you own it and you can control it. Like it's the only thing that you own and control.
Yep, and your funnels.
Yeah, and your funnels, but you don't control the traffic to them. And I don't know, my funnels are on ClickFunnels. I don't own ClickFunnels. But no, I mean, you own and control it, but to build it and then hope to sell is backwards. You have to sell something to build the list. And then, yes, it's definitely an asset that if you do it correctly can be built with buyers, because really that's all that matters.
Exactly.
I don't care how many people are on anybody's list. I care how many buyers are on the list.
Yeah. So what was your plan? So what was your plan after you had the hats gone? Like, what was the next stage?
We didn't have a plan.
So you're basically looking at a revenue standpoint of an opportunity, saying, hey, here's an opportunity for us to sell these hats, make some revenue, and then let's figure something else to do once we make the list.
Yeah. So in this particular funnel, we got so addicted to that front end.
Yeah.
That we didn't put our eye on the whole picture, and we didn't put our eye on the back end because we're just like, oh, we'll just go, and then we'll figure it out later. Right.
All right.
So that was the strategy. And, and then when the Facebook, I guess it got saturated because then the Facebook stuff just started getting us to where it just wasn't make sense. And we were, struggling to break even. And we sent them a couple other things in the back end, like T-shirts, and things like that. But nothing rocked like that free plus shipping offer.
Right. That's me. Yeah, because you tried to send an email to. I remember the story now. You tried to send an email for a T-shirt or something, and then you're using Confusionsoft.
We were using Confusionsoft.
They like locked you guys up or something.
Yeah. So people, when they're filling out step 1, they didn't know that they were opted into Confusionsoft, right? So, and at the time, and I don't know if it's still like this, but with ClickFunnels 2-step form and Infusion, there was just a lot of, things going on. So like these people just like never got emailed. So when we did a broadcast, they totally forgot about us, never knew how they got opted in, and then we got too many complaints and then had to, just kind of like, get that working as to when they opted in and didn't buy. We sent them a couple return path emails.
Mm-hmm.
They converted around like 3 to 4%, but it was again 3 to 4% that you wouldn't have had if you didn't send the emails. And they knew that you had their emails, so they wouldn't complain, in the future when you sent them other things like T-shirts or.
So they were sitting dormant for 3 to 4 months, maybe longer. Because you finish the funnel and then you're like, oh, let's try to email these people. Let's try to take that and, incentivize it. And so you press send and they're like, who the heck is this? It's been 4 months since you tried to say hello and now you're like a stranger danger again. And they're like,
totally. Absolutely.
Complaint. And then, of course, Confusionsoft, wants to protect their IP. And so they see all these complaints coming in. So they stop the email. Mm-hmm. So then you tell me it only sent like a quarter of the emails.
You're correct. You have a good memory.
And then boom, they they said no more sending, and you're like, why are we making any sales? And you try to call them up, and they're like a huge hassle, and they're like, now you got to do a double opt-in or something. And
yeah, it's all the people out there like in ClickFunnels groups and all these Facebook groups, they see everybody's highlight reel. That's why I'm here to share some, big mistakes to avoid, because everybody always shares their successes and they never share the behind the scenes stuff.
That's what I love the most. Because we learn what not to do.
Yeah. No one shares the behind the scenes stuff where you just totally, messed up. And we did, we definitely did plenty of, we made plenty of mistakes.
That's huge. That is huge. And so we had, so what I want to do is I want to walk through before we go over to the VIP room with the masterclass and discuss some pretty significant stuff, basically like your customer service issues, how the Facebook agency really like almost tore your company apart. But before we go into that room, what I want to just hit on real quick is, will you run by the numbers? Because I know you illustrated that knowing your numbers, and I preach this every day, is know your numbers on the front and back end. Can you just kind of walk us through of how much revenue you guys generated and then the profit that was taken away from that after all the little whoopsie daisies?
Yeah. So let's see, gross sales were, I think it was around, we had Stripe and Braintree and PayPal, and it was an accounting circus. But we had done, it was over 225,000 in gross sales.
So almost $250,000.
It was almost $250,000
in hats
and stickers. That's it.
I shouldn't say hats plural. I should just say hat.
One hat and one sticker.
Created $250,000 in 4 months. So realistically, that was $1 million train.
If we would have done things correctly, and I want people to understand, like, everybody's out there trying to learn all this stuff, right? And they're watching videos and they're watching this podcast, and it's a great way to start. I mean, you definitely want to learn from people that have been there and done it successfully. Mm-hmm. So that's like the student role. And then there's actually getting in there and actually doing stuff, right? And that's like building out your funnels and the strategy and the traffic and, all of that. And again, totally cool. But the minute that you press play and the minute that people come to your funnel, that's when you learn everything.
Yeah.
That's like getting, I take jiu-jitsu class now. And, there's people that like watch it on YouTube and they can talk the game and they watch UFC and like, that's all cool. Like they know the lingo, right? They get it. And then like I'm in beginner's class. So beginner's class, we do, hours worth of drills and exercises and moves and everything. And then after class is when we, they call it rolling, but that's when you wrestle and do it real for live, like no structure, right? It's like a street fight. And that's when all of that other stuff just like totally disappears.
Yeah.
Right? It's a totally different game when you're in like a real fight versus watching your stuff on computer or building this stuff out. Mm-hmm. So, I just encourage people to get into as many street fights as possible, because that's the only real way that you're going to get, good at this stuff.
I think you just wanted an excuse to tell everybody that you take jiu-jitsu.
No, it's the only analogy that I have is because I get my butt kicked, twice a week, and I'm in class, like I'm really good at class, but when we get into the live stuff, like I just like black out, it's just, I'm in survival mode. I'm just like trying to get out of there. I'm just trying to escape. That's my one move. Like get
Here
out
comes
of this.
Blackout Lynam. Watch out.
But when you turn that traffic on and people are inside your funnel, like that's where the real lessons are learned. And, you had me on to share the free plus shipping offer. And we've done plenty of other funnels that have been successful where I have a lot less mistakes made. But in this case, we just didn't keep the eye on right things and didn't have a strategy for, the back end, and just made some, mistakes along the way, which is fine. but at the end of the day, we didn't waste any time worrying about stuff. Like we had that funnel. I built that funnel in 2 days, and we had traffic to it in, no time flat.
You're ready to grow. Even with your busy schedule, you made that happen.
Yeah, it was as exciting and new, right? Like I told you, you put that new funnel up, you get your first sale. It's like,
man,
popping champagne, and it's a lot of fun. And then, so, we've had plenty of other funnels with different businesses, do extremely well. But I'm telling you, I knew all of the stuff, but I learned a whole lot more when when you're selling, 100 to 200 orders a day, like learning a whole lot while we, went through the experience than you'd ever learn from, talking about it or, watching more training or whatever the case is.
Absolutely. So you did 200. So you did. Let's just gonna put $250,000. You did $250,000. I'm sure everybody's sitting back listening to this, like, holy smokes, I could use $250,000. Like that would change anybody's life. $250,000 would change anyone's life. So after all said and done, after all the dust settled, what was take home on that?
5%.
5%.
5% profit margin after all the dust settled.
So I don't even know what 5% of that is. I probably should use my calculator real quick. So 5% of 250K
11 or 12K.
is 12 grand.
Yeah. So all of that for 5%.
Well, realistically, 2.5, right? Because you had to split it.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like it's and we all know when acquiring new customers from cold traffic, the money is on the back end. It's not on the front end.
Mm-hmm.
If you could build up a tens of thousands of people list and tens of thousands of buyers and still have a profit margin, you're actually doing really good.
Yeah. Yeah, right? Exactly. Well, yeah, if you're profitable on your funnel, and that's after the little 20-cent whoops-a-daisy, and then the customer service, like that was $4K extra that you didn't expect, and then the Facebook guy spent a little more time on your Facebook ads than you thought, and that was an extra $4K.
Yep.
And it's like
that's what I mean. It was just like 5 different things that were all a couple thousand that you thought you made like 30 to 40 grand, and then no, you made like a third of that.
Yeah.
You thought you had 15% profit margins, and you got 5.
So basically, this is what I love about it, and this is how I look at this stuff: is you received a $250,000 education.
Absolutely.
For free.
It wasn't free. We spent a bunch of time.
Well, you got paid for that time. You got $6 grand right out of that. But what's cool is you built a huge database, like 60,000 people. That's 20,000 or so people that are buyers. And then it's just now, okay, how do we execute on that? And, before we switch over to the VIP room, one final thought is in that regards, like when you were building that list, is there anything that you would have done differently?
Yeah, one, communicated with them, from minute one, right? Gotcha. Because they're in there, it's all emotions, and it's not about your brand, so it's not like they're paying attention to that. It's all about the thing that they want. And another thing that I would say is, a lot of these funnels, do come down to the offer, right? Like you got to have something that people want more than they want to keep their money.
Yeah.
That's it. They got to want that more than they want to keep their $8 or $4 or whatever it is. Like it does come down to the offer and having something that people want more than they want to keep their money. So we would have done a better job of, communicating and staying in touch, and kept an eye on the whole ball versus, a piece, and, treated them more like a community versus, just selling a product.
And that's, so what a learning experience. So what I want to do now is I want to go over to the masterclass, the VIP room. And I want to pull back the curtain a little bit more. And we're going to talk about biggest customer service issues that you ran into, the Facebook agency, and then one other bullet point that you didn't mention at any time during the show, which I appreciate. And so what we're going to do now, guys, is go over there. So if you're not a VIP member, you need to go to MrOnIt.com/VIP to listen in. It's going to be amazing. It's behind the scenes of how it all went down with Shawn Lynam. So that's MrOnIt.com/VIP. Shawn, thanks for taking the time to be here on the Kommerce Kings episode number 4. And I look forward to talking with you later on, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Trey.